simply said, Chaplain, don't pay any attention to the stock market, the euro, crude oil prices. None of it means anything. He said, you watch derivatives, and you will know exactly when we are going to bring it down. Let me express very quickly how derivative works. I'll try to do this as fast as I can. A guest walked into a hotel. He walked up to the desk in the lobby and put a $100 bill down and said, I'd like to see a room. I'd like to stay here tonight, possibly. As soon as he walked off to look at the room, the hotel owner runs and pays the bakery that he owed $100 to. The bakery goes across the street as fast as he can and pays the bill at the flour mill. The person at the flour mill, the owner, goes immediately and gives that $100 to his mistress, who lives at the hotel. The mistress pays the hotel the $100 on her room rent. Then the guest decides he's coming back to the desk, and he says, I don't want to stay in your room. I'm not satisfied. Give me my $100 bill back. Now, that's a very simplified what a derivative is, and if we ever have enough time, I'll give you some pure living examples. What you've got to, folks,
sure, there's 1.5 quadrillion. Our listeners know a lot about derivatives, Lindsey. It's 1.5 quadrillion. It's basically insurance and credit default swaps on other investments. And it's basically counterfeit. It's beyond fractional reserve banking. It's beyond the money changers. It's a total fraud, and that's what we've signed on to as an impossible black hole. So they're still saying by the end of 2012, you'll see the end of the dollar or the beginning of the end.
Okay, let's go to the Keystone Pipeline. Is it important that the average person didn't have the slightest idea what it was all about? Now, you've got to put on your thinking cap for a moment. Remember that Mr. Obama said that on a certain date he was going to announce his decision about the Keystone Pipeline. He didn't. He waited 2 weeks. Please, remember, think back. He waited 2 weeks. Why was he waiting? And when he finally said, it's not in the benefit of America to do this, he literally lost thousands and thousands of jobs, which he says he wants to create. He not only did that, but millions and probably billions of dollars was lost by the United States and its financial system. I immediately went to, you know who he is, Alex. I went to my elitist friend and I said, why did Mr. Obama cancel out on the Keystone Pipeline across Canada? He was livid. I have never heard this man so angry in my life. The elite right now, folks, this is so much to your advantage, it's amazing. The elite right now are so angry at Mr. Obama, they may not allow him to be reelected as President of the United States of America. Let me try to explain why. Now, go on the Internet and prove this for yourself. After the program, don't you change that dial right now, but after the program, go on the Internet and look up Liberty Rig. This is the oil rig that was moved last summer to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and was put on Gull Island. It's the largest pool of oil on the face of the earth. It is the mother lode of all oil. In my book, Energy Non-Crisis, I said it 35 years ago, but nobody ever believed me. Now they will believe me because the Liberty rig is actually there. They know that oil is going to come in approximately sometimes after next summer, and they had to have a way to bring that oil to market.
And he doesn't want us to have that oil.
They cannot take it through the Arctic Ocean. It freezes over for 9 months out of the year, and they cannot take it down the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline.
And Obama is killing it. He wants to give it to Warren Buffett to ship out. Stay there. We're going to come back and break this down with Lindsey Williams straight ahead with his inside sources on Alex Jones with Infowars.com. Yeah, it's falling apart for Jon Corzine, caught perjuring himself to Congress, but don't worry. His criminals run all the major regulatory agencies. All the genetic engineering, all the reactors, 9 out of 10 leaking because they don't even care about upgrading them because the bankers make more money, so their reactors are blowing up and leaking everywhere, and their grandkids are getting radiation poisoning just like yours. Yeah, there's always time in life for this. I would stand in line for this. All you New World Order people think you're creating such a great thing. You're creating a nightmare. By the way, big Billy Corrigan interview that I did a week and a half ago when he was in town. He came into the office. He's been a listener for many years. I've been a fan since the early 90s. Smashing Pumpkins. He talks about the New World Order, global warming, religion, everything. We're going to air that tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. InfoWars Nightly News, hour-plus interview after the news. Then I'm going to air some excerpts of that, like I did with Dave Mustaine a few weeks ago, on the radio show. But it's big. It'll be a headline maker as well. We have some other very important guests joining us this week. I'll just leave it at that for you. And, of course, the place to visit is Infowars.com. There's a new video, well, several videos I shot today up on Infowars.com. The Secret of Soft Kill. What is soft kill? Find out at Infowars.com. Also, nanny state on steroids. City plans to outlaw smoking in apartments. Kurt Nimmo. Well, some cities have banned it in your own house. But what about nanny state charging you to walk or ride a bicycle? Stuff like that's coming to New York and other areas. Total enslavement. So we're going to be breaking all that down. If you can't walk or ride a bicycle, folks, you're a prisoner. So that's coming up. Lindsey, I want to get back to the Keystone Pipeline and Gull Island and the oil. Why would Obama, as Bloomberg and AP reported, kill that pipeline under pressure now and say, okay, I'll allow the southern route when that's already built? It's the middle route he's still blocking. So he's playing stalling games. Why is this so important for the traitor-in-chief?
I'm going to give you one of the most startling statements you've ever heard. And in just a moment, briefly, let me go back. The largest oil rig that's ever been built on the face of the earth was moved to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, on the Arctic Ocean in northern Alaska this past summer, and was placed on Gull Island. Go on the internet, and you can see it in the construction phase, and you'll see it sitting on the island. They know that the mother lode of all oil fields is there under that Gull Island. They must bring that oil out. They were depending on the Keystone Pipeline to get it to market somewhere in the world, wherever they wanted to take it. They cannot carry it through the Arctic Ocean. It freezes over 9 months out of the year. They cannot take it down the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline. Briefly, quickly, let me tell you why. The Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline, every so many days, they run what is called a pig down it. They've been doing it for 35 years. You in the oil patch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a big ball, and all around it is little things like razor blades, and it cuts the paraffin that is collected on the side of the pipe, and if they didn't run it every so many days, it would clog up. That has caused the pipe to be so thin they cannot run 2 million barrels of crude oil down it any longer. Plus, the state of Alaska will not allow them to build another pipeline at this point. Therefore, the elite had no choice but the Keystone Pipeline. All right, you ready? Here it is. I'm going to give you the statement. I called my elitist friend, and I'm going to tell you exactly what he said. I hope this doesn't hurt. I hope it does affect you very much. I said, why did he cancel on the Keystone Pipeline? He said, you ready? He is a Muslim. I said exactly what this man said. I did not change a word on it. He said he is a Muslim. I said, wait a minute. Are you telling me that he canceled out on the Keystone Pipeline in favor of his Muslim brethren and the Muslim Brotherhood? He said, yes, Chaplain. Mr. Obama, the President of the United States of America, has double-crossed the elite. He is in big, big trouble. He may not get reelected. They may see to it he doesn't. He has committed a crime amongst all the elite that is unreal. Therefore, we had to go back and waffle a little bit and say, okay, we'll talk about the southern end. Mark my words. He'll probably go back and let the whole thing be built after a while. You know why he wanted to do this? The Muslims gave him literally millions of dollars for his campaign 3 years ago. He waited 2 weeks. Folks, remember back what I said a moment ago? He waited 2 weeks from the day he said he was going to announce this. Why? He was waiting on his Muslim brother and to give him, again, promise him millions of dollars for his next presidential election campaign. The elite know it, and the word that this man used, he was so livid. He said, Chaplain, he is a Muslim. And I said, you mean he canceled out on it in favor of his Muslim brethren? He did. Alex, this is so much to our favor, you cannot imagine. This may be one of the greatest things that ever happened to us in a long time, because right now the elite are mad, Alex.
Go ahead, Lindsey.
Well, that basically is the story on the Keystone Pipeline, and as of right now, that rig at Prudhoe Bay, Alaska is drilling, and they know it's coming in probably after next summer. And they
bottom line, we know that they killed the pipeline, and now they already built the southern part and the northern part. Everybody knows it's the middle he killed, so he parades around in front of the pipeline and says, okay, I built it, and I'm going to allow it to be turned on. I mean, I thought he was doing this, as Bloomberg said, for Warren Buffett, who can now ship by train the oil out of Canada to the West Coast to super tankers to take it to Asia. We know 80% of the Alaska oil already goes there. I mean, look, I hear this Muslim stuff. I know his real name was Barry Soetoro. That's on record. I know he gave up his U.S. citizenship in Indonesia and did go to a Muslim school. That's been confirmed, folks.
Well, the real story.
Well, I know they're financing the Al-Qaeda revolutions all over the Middle East and putting Al-Qaeda in, but are you telling me that Mr. X, who I know, the former head of a big 5 oil company, the elite really believe he works for the Muslims? Well, the Muslims work for the New World Order, the Muslim leadership over there. I mean, Saudi Arabia does, but he wanted the oil brought in from Saudi Arabia, other countries, instead of the elite providing it from the North Slope of Alaska. But the elite, as you know, always did the deal to not let the oil come out of Alaska because they had a deal with the Saudis. So it sounds like Obama's sticking with the old deal.
Yeah, Obama has really messed up everything with the elite right now, and they are livid with him. The real reason that you've never been told on the news, I don't even know a newsletter writer that knows this. I wouldn't have known it if I had not called this friend of mine on the phone. And the real reason he canceled out on the Keystone Pipeline is because the oil that will be coming out of Gull Island must be brought to market. They were depending on the pipeline all the way across Canada and going into Alaska with it and bringing that oil out. And now, of course, he has canceled out on it. And
well, yeah, because you said a year and a half ago the elite were going to, or almost 2 years ago, they were going to double-cross the Muslims, cut them off on that deal they had to have the Muslims use the dollar, but then they would only buy the oil from the Middle Eastern, predominantly Muslim countries. You did say that. You said they would destabilize it. So they were right about that. You were the first to say it. And now you're saying Obama is double-crossing somehow? Well, I mean, is that good then to have the elite double-cross? I mean, in a way, that makes Obama good.
Oh, I mean, it's wonderful that Mr. Obama has done this because they may not let him get reelected. They have the power to keep him from being the next president of the United States of America.
Well, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, he's a teleprompter reader. But you're implying Obama's actually running something. And we haven't had that really since somebody like Nixon or somebody. I mean, you're saying Obama is really running things?
Well, Obama has double-crossed the elite. He intentionally did it in favor of his Muslim Brotherhood. And when this man said to me, and this was his one expression, and you could hear all of the animosity in his voice when he said it, he said, he is a Muslim, just like that. And I said, what? You mean he double-crossed in favor of the Muslims? Yes. And, Alex, this is so wonderful for us. I did not say they weren't going to let him reelected. I said they may not because they're so angry at him right now. They've got to bring that oil out somehow.
All right, you specifically said before we went live, though, that he gave you the time of the collapse. Is it still, because you were right, it wasn't years ago, are they still saying it's going to be the end of 2012?
Well, the dollar will be dead by the end of 2012. The financial collapse will take place worldwide. It won't only be the American dollar. It's going to be the euro. It's going to be the currencies of the world.
Sure, but the inflation won't be felt here until last. For those that don't know, when a country hyperinflates its currency, especially if it's a global or regional, the effects are felt last in the country. But you're saying by the end of this year, the dollar's dead, and then I guess 6 months for it to really be felt here or quicker?
Well, exactly when the worldwide collapse. Now, what I'm talking about today, whenever I say when is the financial collapse, I'm talking about a worldwide, not only America, euro, other currencies.
Well, it's already happening in many areas. Thank you so much, Lindsey Williams. ProphecyClub.com, newest DVD film, Secrets of the Elite, ProphecyClub.com. Thank you so much, Lindsey. We'll talk to you again this week. We'll get you back on to take phone calls. I said I'd take phone calls, but never gave the number out. Will you come back on later during the week?
Gladly, Alex. I'd consider it a privilege.
Okay,
Have
wonderful.
a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Everybody be safe out there until 11 a.m. tomorrow Central. And we'll see you back live then, and Lindsey will be on with us later. Info